There's no denying the fact that there's absolutely beautiful women with beautiful souls that you can meet out there. But do you also know that there's absolutely stealthy, sneaky, manipulative, covert female narcissists? In this video today, I'm going to be showing you the 10 signs to watch out for to protect yourself or a loved one and confirm your intuition. Watch right until to the end, and I'll even give you a free assessment report to determine where you are in your healing journey right after the intro. Sign number 1, intimacy and mirroring. You might find yourself in some situations whereby, especially during the start of a relationship, where it just seems like everything just clicks. You know, you match in interests. It just seems like almost like a dream soul partner, and everything just keeps happening fast. You know, with the mirroring, they might mirror you as well in terms of, you know, things that you like, your interests, your hobbies, and in terms of intimacy at this stage. During this stage, what they're doing is they're projecting a false image of who they really are in order to connect more with you on a supposedly superficial, deeper level. So I'll give you an example. So you might find yourself in a situation whereby the narcissist studies you. Let's say you enjoy going to the gym and they just look closely at your interests and they begin to mirror you in that sense. They begin to get just as passionate about you, about the gym, because they've taken careful time to study you and your habits and to supposedly connect with you on a deeper level. But all this is not genuine, it's all superficial, and eventually, as the relationship progresses, you might then realize that this was just a false image that was portrayed in order to get closer to you, when you realize that actually this was just all a hoax, so to speak. So you'd want to be careful with that to see if it's genuine, and as time progresses, things should happen slowly rather than so immediately in a honeymoon phase, so to speak. So this is something you'd want to watch out. Sign number 2, passive aggression. You might find yourself in situations whereby you go from love to zero, just like that. Unpredictable behaviors. The covert female narcissist, she might be cold sometimes, superficial in her ways, and just emotionally distant, and you might be in some states where you're so confused you can't explain. And during the initial stages of your relationship, this is because they've love bombed you, and as I say, things are supposed to happen naturally and progress naturally, and all of a sudden, because they know they've got you where they want you emotionally, and they can just switch off anytime they like. And once they know they've got you in that trauma bond, this is when the passive aggression can be so emotionally hurtful. For example, you might find yourself in situations whereby things are going really well, and you just find in some instances your partner all of a sudden just becomes suddenly cold. You might be having, you know, a brilliant day, absolutely fantastic day, and out of nowhere, without being able to explain it, they're just all of a sudden cold towards you. And this leaves you in a very confused state, and you're trying to know more and, you know, connect with your partner. And this can be very emotionally traumatic for you on a deeper level, and it could be hard to express this, and you're yearning for more from your partner, but they're not giving you that. And it's because they know they have that power and control over you. It's part of their emotionally manipulative tactics that they use to exert control on you. So if you find this happening in instances from time to time, this is another sign to watch out for. It's not overtly aggressive, it's passive aggression, and it's just as emotionally painful as a covert aggression. In fact, it's silent aggression, especially when they give you the silent treatment as well. This can be very hurtful emotionally, and you'd want to be aware of this sign as well when it's happening, and especially the frequency of it, in order to get manipulate you into doing what they want you to do as well. Sign number 3, the victim card. Oh boy. In these situations, you'll find they're always the victim. The world is always against them. They're never wrong. They always seem to find you in situations where you're the one that's always at fault. I mean, in a relationship, it should be balanced. Everyone has instances where they're wrong and they need to apologize, and that can even be another sign. If you find they find it very difficult to apologize to you when you feel like they've done something wrong or hurt your feelings. So in terms of this, they basically have no accountability for their actions, and especially when they might tell you about their previous relationships, it's always the other person's fault. It was never their fault or anything like that. So you want to be wary about that, because there's always two sides to every story. No one's ever perfect, but there should be a critical, assessment of, the situation, especially, where they tell you about their past relationships. So you want to be very aware of that as someone that's always playing the victim card, and they can never see that they're ever wrong, and they never take accountability for any of their actions, and they just simply seem to point the finger. They find it very difficult to put themselves in a position of self-reflection. So you want to be aware of that. Of one of the signs is just them just always playing that victim card all of the time. Sign number 4, and as I said earlier, there's no ability to self-reflect. This is a very important one in everything they do, whether it be in their personal relationships, whether it be in their work life. It's very extremely difficult for them to have a sense of self-reflection. It might not even be something they do on purpose. It's just the way they've grown up, and this has contributed to these narcissistic traits that they have within themselves. So in essence, there should be a sense of self-awareness to improve yourself as a human being. But with narcissists, they seem to just stay. It's very difficult for them to change, basically. They seem to just stay stationary in their thoughts of them always being right. And you'll find, as I say, in previous relationships, the things that were done to them, this. But there's never a side to the story of what they did to their partner, what they learned from the previous relationship to make them a better person. Because bad experiences should also make you grow as an individual. And if they're not self-reflecting on that, that could be another strong indicator of a sign of a covert female narcissist. Sign 5. They might even say when you get with them, promise you never leave me, quite similar to the victim card. They've always been hurt by people in the past, and they want you kind of like to be their hero. And this, especially if you're a strong empath, this plays beautifully into the narrative of you being their hero. And as an empath, you would want to be inclined to be like, oh, you're the only one that can save them. But trust me, you do not want to go down that route, because that's going to drain you and continually drain you. Relationships should be balanced, and if you go down that road, it might take you to a place where you're beginning to wonder, how did you get to this point? So you want to be very wary of that when they play that card of they want you to be their hero, especially if you just get with them and they're saying things like, don't ever leave me, don't ever hurt me. I mean, it might sound like just a normal thing anyone can say, but if you find that's being said early on, it's building into a narrative of they've always been the victim and people always hurting them, and you're supposed to be the hero that's supposed to save them from this world of torment and victimhood, of the world being against them. So you want to be very wary of that as well. Sign number 6. This is a huge one. I like to call it sex bombing or love bombing, but more specifically, sex bombing. You may find and you may realize, especially when you listen to your intuition, there's no form of connection, and they're just trying to connect with you through sex. And this is just one of their manipulative tactics, keep you in the love bond, trauma bond. and you'll find they're not really connecting with you on a deeper level. But you'll find this happens usually, if some people want to call it the Jezebel spirit, they begin to be very seductive in the sense that they use that sex as a tool to keep you under control. And we know in instances whereby, yes, couples can resolve issues through that, but you'll realize that you're not really connecting with this individual on the kind of deeper depth level because they don't have the ability to, and they would use that as a tool to get what they want because they don't have that ability to connect with you on a deeper level. And it's something you have to be aware of in that sense, to notice when they're using that to control you and to get you to do things that ordinarily you wouldn't be able to do. So you have to have a very strong mind, very strong spirit. I know it's not easy, especially as a man. We're moved by things that we see, obviously, and covert female narcissists, they know this and they use this to their advantage and to put you under some form of control. But if you can master that, to know when this is happening, you can be a step ahead. You can be a step ahead in the sense of being in control of your thoughts and not letting other things control you, so to speak. And this will give you a step ahead and an edge in these manipulative tactics if you can realize what is going on in terms of the control that's trying to be exerted on you. So this is a very important one that is exploited by covert female narcissists. And if you're enjoying the video so far, kindly leave some comments down below. If you experience some of these signs, kindly leave some comments so that we can engage together and help each other in the community to give each other perspectives on these signs. Sign number 7, isolation. You'll find the covert female narcissist in some instances would start to isolate you either from your family, your friends. You might find that they might ostracize you in some scenarios. This is something to be very aware of. And this tends to happen gradually. It's not instant. So you need to pay attention to what exactly is going on. Because you'll find I'm sure you've seen in some instances in some popular relationships going on in the world, and you'll find that the lady just all of a sudden just cuts you off from your family. When you're in a genuinely healthy relationship, you will know. And yeah, sure, nothing's ever perfect and people have disagreements, but your partner should ideally not cut you off from your family. They should bring you even closer to your family. There should be an environment of love. All these things matter, and yes, we know that not in every situation, not everyone's gonna like people, that's just life. But if you find there's a sort of consistency of you systematically being cut off from people, you need to pay attention to that, and you need to be very wary and aware of that. This is another tactic that they use to isolate you and cut you off so that you do not have the supply you need from other people to support you. And this just strengthens their position in the sense that they can basically have you under their control and you have nowhere else to go, and it's basically them, and you need they feed you with that sort of supply in a sense. So you need to be very intuitively aware of that, and also make sure you're not getting cut off from friends that have been there for you, family that have been there for you, and take a balanced perspective in terms of, yeah, fine, you want to protect your partner in a relationship, but you want to also be aware to have a balanced life and to also have your family and your friends still in your life. The next sign you might notice is a toxic energy. Look, we're all spirit beings, whether you believe in a higher power or not. We're spirit beings in a body, and we all have intuition. And if you're sensing you're always getting just negative things might even just start happening to you all of a sudden, it's a sign. It's a sign of the bad energy that endures around them. And you want positive energy, you do not want negative energy in your life. And it might be toxic energy as well. You might start just having bad luck. You might just having just bad things happening to you all of a sudden, you really want to evaluate that, because all this is connected. It can affect your work, it can affect so many other things, because this thing goes really deep and into even the energy dimensions, and which can be discussed on other episodes that I've done on energy. And you want to be really aware of this when this is happening, and the energy that it drains from you. You might find you're getting really drained, especially as an empath, because as an empath, the covert female narcissist needs your supply, they need your support, so they will constantly be draining you. You'll feel this draining of your energy. That's because they're not connected to source, which you are, which you have that natural love within you, but they find it so difficult to love themselves, and they need to feed off that supply from you as the empath, and that is why you feel drained and the negative energy. And you'll be in instances where you feel like it's never enough. Whatever you do, it's never enough. So you want to be aware of that. You want to be sensitive to that energy, because life is energy. Everything around us is energy. So you want to pay attention to what's going on there, and the toxic negative energy, to identify that as one of the signs from the covert female narcissist. The next sign is confidence and low self-esteem. As they are covert, if you lack knowledge in this, you might see this as they're just shy, they're just withdrawn, and it's someone to protect. But one sign you need to be aware of is the fact that they have such low self-esteem and low confidence, and that plays so well into the narrative of you being their hero and their empath to save them and protect them from this. Yes, we're in situations sometimes where people have low confidence, but this is a strong characteristic of the covert female narcissist that plays into the victimhood, because they'll show and convey to you that they have such low confidence and low self-esteem, and they've not built up that character within them and that confidence within their spirit to be able to go out there and be their own person. They've basically not discovered who they are in life, and that should be actually something you should look for in an individual when you get into a relationship with them. Yes, we're not saying the person should be all-rounded or anything, but there should be a certain level of confidence in them. They should know who they are, they should know where they're going in life, they should have some basic goals about them. And if you finding this is below a certain level of what your needs are and what your standards are in a relationship, then you want to be very wary of that, because you're going to be constantly trying to lift this person up and help them as an empath that you are, because that's your nature, that's who you are. But you're going to find that this is just constantly going to keep draining you, and there's only so much you be able to take, because we're all energy, and it's like you're a battery, and if you're drained so much, it could lead to a place where you might regret. So this is a very strong indicator as well to notice if the confidence and low self-esteem is at such a place that is so low, and their development as a person should have been more developed than what you thought it should be. So this is another strong sign to watch out for. The next sign is entitlement, and you might find in situations where they feel really entitled, there's a complete lack of empathy. Everything just has to be about them in everything you do, and there's this selfishness that just comes across in what they want. They become very demanding, and it's always has to be, they have to be the center of attention and the center of the world. They're entitled to everything. You might find situations where they might also be very materialistic in situations like that. They might, if you don't get this from them, they might even use it to manipulate you as well. If you don't get this for them, then you don't love them, because surely love should transcend just material things. And when you see this entitlement and a complete lack of empathy, say in a situation whereby maybe you can't afford something, and it's like they just don't care. If you can't get this for them, forget it, you don't love them, or they even ditch you or dump you. This is a clear sign. I mean, love should transcend just materialistic things, and you want to be quite aware of when this is going on. One of the good signs to just see is they're extremely materialistic in that sense, and entitled to different things. If you don't get this for them, and get this for them, and get that for them, or a car, or this and that, you know what I mean, guys. So you want to be very wary of that in confirming all these signs to know that it's a covert female narcissist. And you'd want to see also that there's a consistency with these signs, because you also need to be aware of that sometimes you might see traits of all these signs in some people, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're a covert female narcissist. You want to be able to see a kind of like roadmap, and there's some consistency in unpredictable behaviors, and you're seeing all these signs evident within this person. So you want to be just aware of that before casting judgment on them. If you're thinking really deeply and intuitively enough, you'll feel it, that there's just something not right with this person's soul. You might even think they've been your soulmate, but really what's going on is you're soul tied. There's a big distinct difference between thinking you have a soulmate and having a soul tie. That's basically meaning you're in a trauma bond. They've entangled you into their love bomb phase, basically. So if you believe you're a victim of narcissistic abuse and you want to find out where you are on your healing journey, then click on the link in the description down below on this video, and I'll provide you a free assessment report to determine where you are on your healing journey. And in case you've not seen this powerful, eye-opening interview that I had with John McKenney, that was in a 25-year marriage with a covert female narcissist, check it out in the link below. It's extremely powerful to see the narrative of the perspective of this survivor.